A shocking report has revealed widespread sexual abuse in a prominent French religious order. Joining us with the latest from the Eternal City Church Militant Rome correspondent, Dr. Jules Gomes. Jules, tell us about this report and who are the main players in this tragedy.
Courtney, this report has been published by the community of St. John, which is a religious order consisting of about 500 men, priests and brothers, and about 300 religious sisters. They are based in 30 countries on 5 continents. And it is an absolutely devastating report pointing the finger at the founder, Father Marie-Dominique Philippe. You can see him in the picture surrounded by nuns, who is at the heart of the whole systemic abuse that, the report says, has spread like a virus through the entire order.
So there's another person who's a big part of the problem, Mother Alix Parmentier. She's the co-founder of the women's wing of the religious community. Somehow she's managed to become both a victim and a perpetrator of sex abuse within this community. How did that happen?
Well, she was very close to the founder, Father Marie-Dominique Philippe, and he had an affair with her. The report says that she was a victim of his sexual abuse. And these words are, of course, need to be nuanced very carefully, and we'll talk about why later. But she then developed a relationship with him of almost an equal in the order. And she began abusing others, particularly men. And this has led to, as I said, endemic abuse within the order. So we now have 72 priests and 6 nuns who are listed as predators, abusing 30 nuns, 69 women, 29 minors, 17 brothers, and 10 boys who are under the age of 15.
Wow. That's horrific. This report suggests the religious community was contaminated by a kind of virus that exploited theological justification for abuse. We see this a lot with sex abusers here on this side of the ocean as well. Can you elaborate on this virus and the theological justifications that they used for it?
Well, the French media are calling it a rogue theology. It is a toxic, perverted theology. Kind of drawing on St. Thomas Aquinas and a mystical tradition. But let me actually quote what Father Dominique Philippe told his victims. So, for example, he tells Michelle France Pesneau, somebody who he abused when she was 30 years old, he says, and this is what she says, Father explained to me that the parts of our body that we hide the most carefully will be in heaven the most glorified. She then goes on to say, he asked me to wait for him in the chapel. He said to me, come, we are going to pray together. That was the coded expression, pray together. There was never any penis-vagina penetration, she says, but there was oral sex. It was with a finger sometimes. He knew he could do absolutely anything he wanted. Now, the priest would kiss her and tell her, with my mouth I kiss you, but I'm actually kissing you with my heart because I love you in the heart of Jesus. You don't have to worry. I take everything, but I don't keep anything. Everything is for Jesus. This abuse develops the whole concept of, or perverts the concept of friendship. And Father Marie-Dominique Philippe would tell his victims, the friend can use his friend as he pleases. he also told another nun he abused. He said, when two contemplative souls are united in a bond of friendship, they experience the greatest love that can be experienced on earth. As long as there is no penetration, the spirit of virginity remains. Have no fear. The Father Marie-Dominique, Philippe, is aware. Now, the last quote comes from somebody else, a priest who was abusing another nun, but because this was systemic and endemic, it was done with the approval of the founder, superior, and the prioress.
Wow, that's shocking and astounding. I'd even dare to say it's satanic, the way that these people try to push their abuse, how they abuse people, using, trying to use these crazy theological concepts. It's a satanic inversion. I'm kind of speechless hearing about this. It's really, really horrible. So the report documents abuses that occurred over a span of 35 years. This didn't just happen, last year. Can you talk about the processes that led to these abuses being revealed and why it took so long for this report to surface?
As we all know, Brad, there was a tremendous amount of cover-up because Father Dominique Philippe was very well protected. His own brother, Thomas Philippe, by the way, both these were ex-Dominicans. The brother was also an abuser, and they even shared the women they were having sex with. Now, this is also linked to another report that came out earlier. We did a story on it, a report that demonstrated the abuses taking place in the L'Arche community. And these abuses were perpetrated primarily by this celebrity Catholic, lay Catholic, Jean Vanier. And Jean Vanier, interestingly, was a great advocate of celibacy. And meanwhile, we now know he abused at least 25 women. So the reason it had not come out is because there was tremendous secrecy, and there was an absurd amount of spiritual control. So the victims were actually almost hypnotized into believing they were doing something for Jesus. And Father Dominique Philippe would tell his victims, for example, this is the king's secret, referring to the king, God. If you reveal it to other people, it's like throwing pearls before swine. So that was one aspect of it. The cover-up was the other aspect. The coming out was very slow. It was only when a couple of women came out and had the courage to, first of all, understood they were being exploited, and there were a couple of books written. Father Dominique Marie-Philippe died. And then the order woke up, and in 2019, they came out with their first report, and now this is a follow-up to that. And they've been very honest about the abuses, which, of course, have been endemic. And let me mention, by the way, that this is not the only order in France or in the world. We know about Martial's Legionaries of Christ. Currently, I'm writing about the Missionaries of St. Francis de Sales, an order that is has a lot of Indian priests from Kerala and Tamil Nadu who are dominating the order. And again, the sexual abuse there is endemic. I mean, even the pornographic pictures of nuns and teachers. But part of the reason, again, our listeners need to understand is the hierarchy do not act, because a lot of this is construed as consensual. And when a priest has sex with a woman, if it's consensual, people just look the other way. Superiors just look the other way, because it's kind of what happens. And the maximum penalty imposed on the priest is he is transferred unless the woman gets pregnant and makes a noise, which in such cases, rarely the priest is asked to leave the order.
Wow. Yeah, this is all so horrific. It all just goes to show, really, everyone, that we all, every single person, must be spiritually on guard against temptations and developing vice, especially if that person is a priest or religious. We all need to fight the spiritual warfare. Thank you, Jules, very much for explaining this sad situation to us.
Thank you, Rodney.